Yeah, everybody thinks I'm always in a bad mood. I don't know why.
Because you are 60 years old. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Close. I'm getting very close. Thank you very much. Well, Josh kept pushing me. It's all Josh's fault. Hello, Tokyo. This on? Yes. I see other guys my age. They see that they're kind of like slow and they're overweight, and I'm like, I don't want to be that way.
I mean, we're all trying to strive for Dave.
Yeah.
I always tell people, rest as long as it takes to get ready for your next set.
And like, hello, thank you very much. A lot of people in their swing and stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're lifting heavy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that, but you're swinging it and you're compensating. We do it just so we can look pretty.
And that's when you were on steroids.
Yeah, everybody thinks I was on. I hear that all the time. It's like, hey, you juicing? I'm like, man, if I was juicing, wouldn't I be a lot bigger? I think if you don't lift, your body breaks down, your back muscles get loose, your core gets loose, and you just start to hold.
And when I'm squatting heavy, it's like all that energy is released at the gym.
Your calf is your second heart.
I know a few things in here, you know.
Some of us want to go out there and just like lift a house on anything. Say you're going to go out and do something and you're already afraid that you're going to fail. You're going to fail.
If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And if you believe you can't, you can't. My parents instilled that to me when I was young. What is happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of One Warrior. Today I have with me Dave Sidle.
Hello everybody's.
I told him to do the intro in that accent just because he actually nailed it. That was perfect.
Well, I try, you know. It's just a thing I do.
Is that like an Italian? Like,
Hey man, don't you be asking me about the Italians, okay? We got to, you know.
That's like a combination of Italian Mexican.
Let's forget about it, you know.
Let's forget about
Now
it.
listen, man, you can't make fun of the Mexicans, okay?
But today I have with me Dave Sidle. I like to start this out as always an elevator introduction. Now, do you know what an elevator introduction is?
No, but has it got any music? Because I like music.
So everybody I've talked to, nobody knows what an elevator introduction is. An elevator introduction is when you go into a building, you walk into an elevator, and you have basically 20 to 30 seconds to get to know somebody in that amount of time. So, Dave, I walk into an elevator. Besides me being super intimidated by you, I say that just because he thinks everybody is intimidated of him.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm always in a bad mood. I don't know why.
But, so I meet you in an elevator. Dave, tell me about yourself.
Gonna be 56 here Sunday. I am a mechanic. Been a mechanic for working my job 9 years now, but for the last, since I was 14, been messing with cars. Lift, gun nut, homesteader, Jesus follower.
Amen to that.
You know, pretty much see what's going on in the world and
trying to make it through each day.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Do you feel the evil
Just all around.
all around? I mean, it's like,
yeah.
you can tell. I mean, I'm a people watcher,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to watch people, and I keep my eye on people, and I just don't trust some people anymore.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm just a regular guy who tries to get along with everybody and get through life.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be covering a couple topics today on the podcast. We're going to be going into your lifting because you are 60 years old. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Close. I'm getting very close. Thank you very much.
55 years old. 55 years old, Dave. And you are a beast in the gym. I mean, you just hit a 300-pound bench at your age this past week on Monday.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have done so many reps, I probably would have won for 315.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, Josh kept pushing me. It's all Josh's fault.
Always blame.
He's like, come on, you can do another one. I'm like, I should have saved some for the end.
Always blame Josh. Yeah, that's what I do too. So you're not hesitant about lifting heavy, are you, at your age?
No.
And that's kind of one of the first things I want to talk about in this podcast. First topics, I guess I should say, is when there's a stigmatism as when you age to stop lifting as heavy. A lot of people think, oh, I'm getting to be 40, 50 years old. I can't squat, like I used to. I got to keep the weight low and do more high reps, just to do that, get that cardio burn and stuff. That's the typical thought of a lot of people at the gym. What makes you want to lift heavy?
Being a mechanic, you can use a lot of power tools, and I don't use a lot of power tools. I'm still the ratchets, wrenches, stuff like that. And I have to pick things up, and I'll lift transfer cases above my head and put them up there and let somebody get the bolt started. I just want to I see other guys my age, and I see that they're kind of like slow and they're overweight, and I'm like, I don't want to be that way.
Yeah. It's bad. It seems to be like, I think people think when they become 50, they go through this phase in life where they think, I need to take it easy.
Or they're like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. What else am I going to do?
Right. They're done. They're just done, and they're just living out their life at that point. And Dave's completely opposite. He's a beast. He takes his workouts very seriously. He trains like an animal. I mean, let's go into your lifting a little bit. Describe just what you do, like a typical split for you, for being 55 years old.
Well, let's say back day.
Okay.
Rack pulls, I'll start out 135, and I might end up at 225. But I try to do no less than a set of 10. And I try to do 4 to 6 sets. And then I go to bent over rows, and I'm at 135 now on those, and I try to do at least 4 sets. Then it's the upright rows, which I'm getting better. I try to do a set of 15 on each set, and I try to keep my posture right and stay straight and tighten the core.
Right.
And then shrugs, I think I'm up to I can shrug 365 without straps.
Wow. It's really good without straps.
Yeah, I don't like straps. For me, I want the hand strength, the grip.
I agree with that. I the only reason me and Josh like to use straps on back day is we don't use them on our warm-ups. We only use them when we get crazy heavy, because for me, I only weigh 154 pounds, but my back is my strongest muscle. I can pull 200 pounds. Can I get it? Can I pull it without the straps? Yes, but can I do as many reps without the straps? That's where my grip is a limiting factor for overall back development, and that's where I think straps can be beneficial in that department. But you're right, grip strength, and actually there's studies. Did you know about their studies literally linked to your grip strength being linked to how long you live? The stronger your grip is, the longer your lifespan is, typically speaking.
Everybody makes fun of me because they say I got Popeye forearms.
That's not a bad thing.
But
I mean, we're all trying to strive for Dave.
Yeah, but it's some people want to be cut.
Yeah.
Some people want to be super huge and ripped.
Yep.
I just want to be healthy and strong.
Yep. I tell people I like to be like a superhero. I like to not just be the show muscles. I like to, if I want to train with bigger dudes, I want to be able to keep up with them, but I also want to have a good physique as well. And so I'm in that balance range. And that's how I've kind of built this brand about just being a warrior, being a superhero.
But then I'll drag curls. I am up to 135 pounds now on the drag curls.
On drag curls. Wow. That's really good.
So I'm getting right. I mean, you guys weren't there Friday. You had something.
I was recording a podcast.
Yep. And I mean, there was one other guy in the gym. I put my earbuds in, cranked the music up, and just went.
Yeah.
So, and then I got done with that, went over to the rack of the steel free weights, ran down them once, doing at least sets of 12 of shrugs, went over and did my flies, and then went back and went down another set of 12.
What's the lowest rep range you train at?
Probably last night doing my arms, I went up trying to do at least a set of 10, starting at 25, worked my way up to 55 on curls, dumbbell curls. And then as I was coming back down, I started to notice I could get like maybe 7 or 8 before I started failing, but I went all the way back to where I started at 25.
Okay. It's like that was more like a heavy weight question there. Like,
Oh, let's see.
like for
Heavy?
instance, like yesterday for squats, me and Josh trained for fives. You know, we did fives yesterday, and we've done all the way down to twos before on our working sets. I mean, when we really want to go heavy. I'm just curious because of the age thing. You know, being 55.
I don't really keep track. I just go as hard as I can until I can't.
Yeah.
Because when I'm done at the gym, then I go home and I take care of my stuff around the house. I get in about 9, eat dinner about 9 o'clock.
Right. Now that's usually when I eat too, right? About 9:30 or 10.
That's
Somewhere
probably
in there.
about the time you guys are finishing up.
Yeah.
Is when I'm just coming in the house.
Yep, because I get home and I feed Siri and then I make dinner right afterwards. So yep, that's pretty similar actually.
But I really don't. Sometimes I just get in there, put my music in, and I just lose track, and I just
go at it.
go at it as hard as I can.
That's the best way to train.
Yeah, and when I can't do it, I can't do it.
I mean, we train with a lot of people sometimes, and I find some of my best workouts on Wednesday when I just get to train alone. I get to put my music on and I just get to go at it. It's so fun. Like tonight I'm going after tonight. After we talk tonight, I'm going. So it's going to be like 8:30 probably, and nobody's going to be there on a Wednesday. It's going to have the gym to myself. Yep. It's going to be beautiful.
So I try to do a high intensity. You don't see me taking any long rest between stuff. I try to hit it because I think that the more you can go, the stronger you get.
Right. That is true to an extent. There is benefits of resting, that you can lift heavier, and you can put more into your sets. I always tell people rest as long as it takes to get ready for your next set. Because if you're cutting your rest times too short, what's going to happen is you're going to compromise your set. If you did say 5 reps and that was an all out max out set, if you only take 2 minutes rest, you're going to maybe get 4, maybe even 3. It might even cut your reps down to 3. Then if you just took that full 3 minutes rest, you were able to knock out a 5. And therefore your volume would be higher and more growth and more results. That's why, I always tell people less is more in the gym. Focus on quality over quantity. If you can only do 3 exercises, that's better than doing the people that jump around. We know people that jump around from 7 different machines just to go from one to the next to the next.
Yes.
And sadly, they might look like they're getting a better workout, but the people that are truly getting a better workout, the people that are actually breaking on muscle, going to grow, are the ones that are treating it as quality. Less is more approach.
Yep. And you got to focus on your form. You can't be bending over, swinging your arms when you're doing curls.
No.
That's why I try to stand as straight as I can, tighten my core up, and then bring it up. I mean, I see a lot of people in their swinging stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're lifting heavy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that, but you're swinging it and you're compensating. You got to work. You got to engage all your muscles, and I think it starts in the core.
It does. It's the middle of us for a reason, If this is loose, then everything else is going to be loose. It's just like a shoulder too, like on a press. I tell people you have to stay tight with your shoulders down and back, and if that shoulder pops out, you're going to lose power. It's the same way with the core. If the core is out of touch, with your lift, you're going to lose the power out of your lift, generally speaking.
See, when I was 45, I was 252 pounds, benching 365, decline was 315. I'd go and I worked out with Chris Winsler at the Y, and we would just hit it. And
that's when you were on steroids.
Yeah, everybody thinks I was on. I hear that all the time. It's like, hey, you juicing? I'm like, man, if I was juicing, wouldn't I be a lot bigger?
Dave's never taken steroids. That's true,
No.
Right? Never taken anything. TRT even. No
Nope.
TRT, nothing. No tren.
Nope.
That's impressive.
I have my C4 pre-workout.
Yep.
And then I take some creatine.
I was going to say, I hope you say creatine.
Yep. And that.
Yep. And that covers it.
Yep. And then go home, eat it. I usually try to eat a good salad and a good meal. And
How do you think lifting heavy weights benefits our bodies differently as we age compared to other forms of exercise?
I noticed it yesterday going on my way to the gym. A guy was hunched over. And he used to go to the gym, the guy I saw.
Really?
And I was like, I seen him walking, and he was hunched like this. And
Probably
I was like,
looking at his phone, right?
well, no, he was walking to the mailbox and he was starting to hunch. I think if you don't lift, your body breaks down, your back muscles get loose, your core gets loose, and you just start to fold.
And do you think that has something? It probably does. It has something to do with how we live our lifestyles too.
Yep.
Because we're all sitting down and everything.
Well, a lot of people I know sit down, but I'm up on my feet constantly moving. But you see it. And then you see the people who are always on their phone. When you go up to talk to them, they're always looking down. They won't look you in the eye.
That'll be a whole nother conversation for later, looking people in the eye, because that is a big one. That is a big generation thing that's changed dramatically over the years. But the whole crouch thing, though, I mean, I feel like, I work at a desk all day, but I feel I have pretty good posture too when I sit at a desk. I try to make sure I keep my, core tight, down and back, like I do on a bench. If I'm working, I try to focus on that stuff, but a lot of people don't put focus on that. And I feel like with more jobs becoming just sedentary jobs, that's just leading into people being less good on posture. Posture gets worse and worse.
But the thing is, you concentrate on your posture. These other people are just trying to get through the day. Oh man, I gotta go to work. I got my 8 hours, and then when I get home, I got to do this and I got to do that. They're not thinking about keeping their posture up. They're just trying to make it through the day,
and they don't realize the benefits of it. Like, what are the benefits of just good posture?
The hunched over look. I mean, I see people now who are younger than me in Walmart in carts, the motorized carts, and I'm looking at them going, get up and walk. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be mean and put anybody down, but just get up and walk a little bit, move. Something's better than nothing. And
walking is one of the best things you can do. I try to get 3 10-minute walks every day. I tell people that after every meal you eat, walk 10 minutes. That's an easy way to go about it.
And it helps your digestion too.
It does. Stan Efferding talks a lot about that. I recommend Stan Efferding to a lot of my people I talk with. What are some common misconceptions, Dave, about lifting heavy weights as we get older, and how can we address them?
I don't know. I got guys at work that give me guff about lifting heavy. They say, I got a guy at work says that it's going to hurt me, that I'm going to get hurt, and I'm telling him, no, as long as I keep moving and I lift heavy, my muscles are strong. And see, people think that people who lift heavy are knuckle draggers. Let's just put it that way. We're not smart. We're just out there in the gym. We do it just so we can look pretty. Well, that's not what we do it for.
No.
It's a way of life. It's a stress relief for me after working all day. I can go in there, get my 1.5 hour workout in, go home, do my stuff, and I'm pretty good.
Exactly. And real quick, I wanted to touch on the psychology of lifting heavy. I have found in my previous past, when I've been injured and whatnot, when I couldn't lift as heavy, I was more irritable out of the gym. Because I could only, train in reps of 12 to 15 without, getting heavy, like where I tore my trap or I tore my hip and I couldn't squat. I was taking off time from squatting, and I was found even doing work at home, I was getting irritated at stuff more. I would get irritated with Siri more if she did something wrong. And when I'm squatting heavy, it's like all that energy is released at the gym. I don't have those demons anymore, that negativeness. People could pull out in front of me on the road and be like, all right, good for you. And if I skipped squatting that week, I'd be like, damn it, get out of the way.
Well, and you're beating yourself up because you're hurt and you want to lift and you're like, man, I can't do it. And then you start beating yourself up for it.
Right. Yep. Dave, do you think there's any specific muscle groups older adults should focus on when lifting heavy? Why are they particularly important if so?
Back, shoulders, core.
Those 3.
Legs.
Okay. I was going to say, you better mention legs.
I mean, legs is, your calf is your second heart.
What makes you say that?
Pumps a lot of blood.
It does. Not very many people know that.
No.
Very few know that. I'm surprised you know that, Dave.
Oh.
you know a thing or two.
I know a few things in here,
Back is and shoulders is posture. Plus your core. If this starts to pouch out, what do? You're starting to slouch.
It's more weight. It's pulling you. It's pulling you forward. It's all contributing to that.
Now, arms, as you get old, some people as they get older, no, because of what their job is. But I believe it's the back, shoulders, legs, and the core.
That's exactly what I would say too. I would literally say those exact same things for the same reasons. I mean, the back, just because it is a full posture thing. When you have a big back, you just have, and strong back, more than so just big, you just have better posture. You're able to do things outside without getting hurt. How many people do we know bend over and pick something up and they get hurt?
Throw their back out.
And one of the reasons is just because of a weak back. That also goes with weak legs, and and training legs too as we get older is very important because it produces testosterone more so than any other muscle in the body. And when
not too many people know that.
See, I know a thing or two. But when you train your legs, that produces the most testosterone. Legs and back, I tell people, the biggest muscles in the body.
And as you get older, what does a guy need?
Testosterone, and naturally drops. And I feel training legs is one of those things that can keep a person's natural T levels at a higher level. It's going to happen to everybody. Testosterone drops, and to a degree, yes, but there are ways of keeping it elevated for a natural level at your body. It's people think there's a misconception of when you age, your testosterone naturally drops off, and that is true. But people just think it just tanks, and it's like, oh, what's the point of even lifting that?
You become less active.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, but people eat less calories as they age too.
Well,
and that's another thing that will lower your testosterone.
It's what they eat too.
Right. Oh, of course.
As people get older, they don't tend to eat so good, and they eat the junk because it's quick.
Right.
Or, you know what? Let's just eat and go.
Yeah, it's food is a lot of it, and food with training with a proper program can keep your testosterone elevated for, most of all your life. If we look online, there's people like, look at, I reference Mike O'Hearn a lot. He's a very, you know who Mike O'Hearn is? He's 56, and he's ridiculous. I'll just pull him up real quick. And he claims he's never taken steroids, and I actually believe him. I have followed Mike O'Hearn.
Is that like the Liver King?
No.
You heard about him?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And he came out, and what was he doing?
Yeah, he was doing
taking
steroids.
The roids.
Yep. I have followed Mike O'Hearn since 2009. Okay.
Holy moly.
And the reason I say Mike O'Hearn is natural is because he's been training consecutively 42 years. And hasn't missed a meal. He's been training consecutively. He's taken all the drug tests and proven that he doesn't take anything. And people still criticize him on taking steroids because he's in his 50s and he looks like that. And the fact is, this guy trains his ass off. He trains power bodybuilding, the same style that we take. I've built a lot of my programs on Mike O'Hearn's techniques because they are so phenomenal, and they have transformed my body completely. After I started, learning a ton from him and Lane Norton and Stan Efferding, I became from the stick I was. I used to be 121 pounds to, I've been as heavy as 180, and I'm 155 right now because of an injury. But the point is, though, having that mindset, and the people that I have allowed me to teach or learn from, I guess I should say, have allowed me to get to where I am today. And I think that is important to realize when you're talking about or even thinking somebody is on T levels or on testosterone therapy, when in reality they may not be, because they just train like hell, eat like crazy good, and they just have the better genetics too. That's all another thing.
He's got the drive.
Yep.
A lot of people don't have the drive anymore.
Right. And drive's a big one. If you can't even get to the gym.
We see that with people at the gym. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, where's such and such, or where they've been?
Even young people.
Yep.
We're not talking about older people here. We're
not young people.
We're talking about like 18 to 22-year-olds that sometimes just don't come, and they don't have an excuse at that age. I was training my ass off at that age. I was powerlifting at that age, actually.
So it's got to be a want.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to want. It's like, how easy would it be for me, like Friday? Tomorrow it's going to be 102 heat index. How easy would it be for me to go home after working in a hot garage all day? I don't. I go and work out.
Just skip, Dave. Come on. Don't go. Don't go.
Because if I skip, then I start beating myself up.
Exactly. I'm the same way. Like, I could skip tonight's shoulder workout, but like, why?
Well, then you'd be like laying in bed tonight going, oh man, I should have went and worked out.
Yeah.
What was my deal?
Right. Exactly. It's like, I don't know. People have different drive. Okay, Dave, do you think there's any safety considerations or modifications that older adults should be aware of when incorporating heavy lifting into their fitness lifestyles?
Know your limitations.
Okay.
Everybody not everybody. Some of us want to go out there and just like lift a house.
Right.
And I've seen it. I don't know how long have I been working out at the gym there? 5 years maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen people come and go. They'll come in, they're just like gangbusters, set the world on fire, and then one day they're gone.
They burn out. And are you talking about older folks or younger?
All.
All.
It's not a age. It's straight across the board. People come in, instant gratification. I want these muscles. I've lifted hard for a month. Why am I not seeing anything? How are you eating? Are you in here doing your lift every time? Are you following a routine? You know, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, they're gone. They never come back.
Yeah.
But they think that they should have it right away. And that's, I always tell them, when they talk to me, I'm like, did the weight come on right away? Well, no. Well, it's not going to come off right away. Your muscle's not going to come back right away. It takes time.
Why do you think, this is going to actually tie into our generation talk, but why do you think, because you're talking about younger and older right now, why do you think the older generation, even the generation that knows how to work, says that same thing for the gym? Because we know old people, old people.
I'm older, not old.
He's
I'm
an old
older.
person. We know old people that have that same mindset at the gym that want the instant gratification. We thought, or I did, only thought that the younger generation thought that way, but we clearly know older people that think that way too.
The internet.
You think the internet can drive even old people?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think social media, people post pictures to make it look like their life is so great, when in fact it's not. They're putting on a facade, they're miserable, and people see pictures and they need that dopamine hit, and they're like, man, I want to look like that. And this guy says he did this in 6 weeks. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Not unless you're, shooting up with some roids.
Which we know quite a few people doing that nowadays.
I've seen a picture of a guy, and this family member told me he's only been lifting 3 months, and I'm looking at him going, no.
What age?
He's got to be, I don't know if he's even 20 yet. And I'm looking at him going, no.
Because you can tell when somebody's taking it. They just have bigger muscle bellies. They just have that more just mature muscle look that you get from years of training, just naturally.
Yep, and I'm looking at him going, hey, no way he put that on that quick. Natural. No.
I know a kid that goes to our gym that I'm not going to say any names, but he's obviously on stuff. And it is clearly obvious just watching him even walk around the gym, the muscle bellies that he holds on to. It's like there's no doubt. And I don't know what these kids are taking nowadays, because nowadays the steroids are so different than they used to be. It used to just be TRT and Tren and
the synthetic stuff is pretty nasty, they're saying.
The SARMs. I've heard a lot about SARMs, and it's cheap. People like the cheap stuff, and that's what a lot of people are going to.
Now, back when I was in high school, it was the horse steroids.
That's what our other training partner Chad was telling me about, the horse steroids.
It was the horse steroids, and I've seen people health problems.
What kind of health problems?
Heart.
It always comes back to the heart. It really is. And that's one of the reasons so many bodybuilders this year have dropped dead. I don't know if you follow Generation Iron at all online, but they post obituaries. Their page is a list of basically an obituary now for bodybuilders. It's sad. It really is. You go on there and this like, oh, this bodybuilder passed away at 40. This one passed away at 35. These guys are young, but it's interesting though why all these young people are dropping dead day after day.
And I know it's got people scared.
Yeah. Okay, for older adults who have never lifted heavy weights before, what advice would you give them to lift safely and effectively?
Find somebody that's a competent trainer. Or go into the gym, watch, listen. You pick up things you can see people who do it right and who do it wrong. Like, people come in, I notice people kind of come to you because they watch how you train. They see you don't just pick stuff up and throw it around and swing your body and stuff.
Right.
My thing would be, if you're going to go in and you want to lift and you want to do it right, find somebody who's competent to train with and show you. Believe it or not, I have bought strength training books. When muscle and fitness was big, I was into the muscle and fitness, and I would always read and watch and try different workouts and cut the pages out and put them in my gym bag. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this workout today. And I've even done a couple of Arnold's workouts. And I don't know, I think a lot of people who are wanting to lift, and the older people, I don't see them really running to lift heavy.
No.
They're scared.
Yeah.
They're afraid they're going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many people do we know that train legs heavy like me and Josh?
And the thing is, it's up here.
Yeah.
If you're afraid on anything, say you're going to go out and do something and you're already afraid that you're going to fail, you're going to fail.
Yep.
It's a mindset.
It's if you believe you can do it, you can do it. And if you believe you can't, you can't. My parents instilled that to me when I was young. Like literally there was a poem that my mom read to me every night before bed. And it was if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And then she read that every night before bed when we said our prayers. And that literally, I think, it programmed my mind because I think that way every time when I go into the bar. I'm like, I'm either gonna do it or I'm gonna just re-rack it and say I'm not gonna have it today. I'm not gonna attempt it if I think, oh, I'm not gonna get this. But more often than not, I attempt it and I say I'm gonna get this, and I do get it because that's just a mindset thing.
But do you notice the people who are in there and they sit there and they procrastinate and and I'm like, don't think about it, get it done. And they're sitting there thinking and they're just beating themselves right there.
Yep. I have a routine. My belt goes on, my music turns on, up the volume, and it's go time. That's my routine when I'm going for a heavy lift.
Yep. But a lot of people will sit there and think about it and, and I'm like, no, don't think, go, do.
Yep. I always use the phrase push past your limits.
Yep.
I love that. But you brought up you went to muscleandfitness.com. So for me, when I was growing up in the 90s, it was bodybuilding.com. I was
been there too.
I would be at school in my English class, and I would be supposed to be doing research for a literature paper. I'd be on bodybuilding.com writing down my workout for the night when I got home. I'd be like, try some extensions and everything, and then I'd get home and do my workout that I'd planned for myself during the day. It's so funny how there's same generation thing there.
Yep. Well, but you were driven.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I loved training ever since I started.
Nowadays, I don't see the drive in a lot of people.
I would get home from school and I'd have a protein shake and maybe like a grilled cheese after I got home, and I'd go train.
Now, see, I can't eat before I lift because if I do, I'm not going to lift good. I'm going to feel sick.
Okay.
But I used to take whey protein when I was big, and I mixed it with milk because I wanted the vitamin D. Not that I'm going to say milk's that great anymore, like it was back then. I drink a lot of
milk. I love milk.
But
I
always bought the double rich chocolate, put it in my shaker cup with some milk, shook it up, had that, and then ate my dinner. When I was that big, I was eating 5,500 calories a day.
At 250.
252.
Wow.
I was eating cans of tuna, eggs. I mean, you name it, it was going.
And that's important because people think, to grow, they don't know the importance of eating. Like when we tell kids they got to eat, I don't think they understand. They think 2,500 calories is going to make them grow.
It's not.
For me, I have to go over 4,000 when I want to gain. It's hard. It's hard. I'm only maintaining right now with 3,000, but it's like, it's just with all the stuff I'm doing, it's like, it's a job to eat that much. It really is. Anything over 4,000 calories is hard.
I've watched the videos of them bodybuilders saying, man, it's hard to eat this, and they just got to shove it in.
Yep.
They're not lying. When I was eating 5,500, I had to open it up and shove it in because I wasn't hungry, and I was like, man, I got to eat. And I was just like...
Did you use the water technique? Take a bite of food, swish it around with water?
Nope. I was just shoving it in, chewing it, and swallowing it.
The water helped a lot. You could down even in a can of tuna really quick with that. The tuna actually matches with the water, and you can get it down fast. But I would do the same thing. I'd have a couple cans of tuna. I'd eat a bite of tuna, drink some water, and get
Yep. And everybody was just like, you're nuts. I'm like, it's all what you want.
It's what you want to achieve. You got to do what you want to achieve. I mean, you could either take the drug route or the natural hard route.
See, and I hate needles.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not getting new.
I hate needles
They're
too.
like, I'm like, nope, get away from me. I had a guy approach me at the Y one night when I lifted there, asked me if I needed anything, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, if you need any roids, let me know. I'm like, dude, I don't take any. He goes, what? I'm like, no, I don't take any.
And you were 250 at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, really? I'm like, no, I don't.
Wow.
We would go lift, and then Chris and a bunch of us would go downstairs and we'd play full court basketball. That was our cardio. And it was like, but then it got to the point where you get to be 252, being my height, going up them steps. It's like, oh man.
Do you remember when it wasn't air conditioned?
Oh,
it was hell.
As soon as you took that first step, it got hot, and it got hotter every step, and you got up there and you're like, man, it's hot. I'm up here, but I'm getting my workout in. I'm here.
I would get off. That was back when I was training legs 2 times a week at that time. And Friday was the day, my second leg day. And I'd get off work and it sucked. I always remember I dreaded it. You know, you put on your squat stuff and you start to walk up those stairs, and every step at this gym, we're not kidding. You feel the heat. You felt the levels when you walked up. You're like, oh my goodness.
And it's like, man, you guys don't have the doors open. What are you doing? You trying to kill us up here?
And honestly, I mean, people almost passed out at times. But I mean, there's a reason that place is fully AC now, because it was hell.
I was lifting 7 days a week then.
I was lifting 6 days. Yep, I was doing 6 days.
This had been about 11 years ago.
Okay, I was there. I started at the Y 2016.
Okay, so I'd already been gone, because that's where I met Chad. Was at the Y.
Okay. That's where I met him too, actually, at the Y. I was actually working behind the front desk and I met Chad. He said, we just started talking one day, me and Chad, and we ended up saying, you want to train back sometime together? And he came to my back set that next Saturday. He trained back with me, and he had a blast. He's like, dude, I'm coming to your next workout. And he became one of my best training partners ever.
Yeah, we'd always talk to him up there. There was always a handful of the regulars up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where I was so big, I'd take and put a beanie on like I do out there sometimes. And I started to pull it way down.
Oh, yeah.
And people won't talk to you. They're afraid of you if you pull your beanie way down.
Really?
Oh, it intimidates people bad.
When you take away the forehead?
Well, yeah. I wear my beanie and I'd pull it all the way down to where it was just right above my eyes, because I'm up there to lift. And people, they wouldn't come up and talk to me.
That's weird. I wonder why. It's a weird psychological thing right there.
I can do it.
And last thing I want to cover here, right, Dave, is what advice would you give the listeners for people that are just now getting to the gym, that want to get into more of a training program that incorporates heavy lifting because they've heard of the benefits of it, but they don't even know where to start?
Do your research. The 2 books that I got, The Strength Training for Men, has a lot of different things in it, a lot of different moves, exercises. Shows you, in the pictures, it shows you the correct way. I would find I haven't even been on a website, and I don't know how long to look at anything anymore. And then I pick up stuff from you guys, or I'll watch people at the gym, and I'm like, if I could do that, but incorporate it with this, what could I engage as far as muscle group?
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken some of your guys' stuff and I've kind of incorporated into different things, and I feel my core more.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't. You got to find somebody that's competent to train with, and a lot of people just do it for the money.
Yeah.
And they say, I can show you this and I can show you that.
How often, isn't it weird? Like, I know a few trainers, and I watch them train people, and I'm
not impressed with some of them.
It's ridiculous. It honestly is.
I'm like, what are you showing them? What are you doing? I think they're trying to do more of a CrossFit thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put anybody down.
Right. Same here. But at
they
the
might
same
come up
time,
and try to stab me at the gym. You just never know.
That's a weird world we live in.
I'm telling you, it's like, oh, hey. Sorry.
I watched your podcast. I know what you said.
You were talking about me. I didn't say your name, but you must feel you're guilty, though. I mean, hey.
Yeah. How do you like that knife in your back?
But it's hard. I mean, what is a trusted website anymore for this?
It's hard nowadays, especially since bodybuilding.com is nowhere near like it used to be. Everything is paid for now. Like, I don't know if you ever go out there, but I've literally gone out there for like programs just to see what's out there, just for curiosity's sake. You have to pay for everything now. It's all behind paywalls now.
Really?
It used to be all free. There was programs, you just clicked on it, you had the whole program, good to go. Now you have to pay for everything.
Does Muscle and Fitness even have a magazine anymore?
They have a website. But I don't know if they have a magazine. I'm sure they do. I mean, they were one of the first magazines ever.
Yeah, but a lot of the places are dropping their magazines and going to the web.
Digital print they're dropping. Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And I was always big on, every month, new one. All right. I'd read it, take it to work, be reading it, go to the gym, try some of the stuff I saw. If I thought it did me something, I'd use it, incorporate it. But if it didn't, okay, I'll go to the next one.
Right. I think you said find people that are competent, with this stuff. And I think YouTube is a great one. YouTube, there's a lot of people out there. Just like I said, Mike O'Hearn, Lane Norton, Stan Efferding, those three people are the ones I reference a lot. They're the ones I reference in my book a lot because they go, like I tell people, like Lane Norton's for all the scientific stuff with lifting and nutrition. Mike O'Hearn is all about power bodybuilding, just, powerlifting and bodybuilding combined and how to do that. And then you got Stan Efferding talking purely about the vertical diet, nutrition, steak, eggs, the old fashioned way of doing things. So I tell that those are three people that I highly recommend almost everybody because they can take your training to a whole nother person.
Who was the guy that got killed out in California, got hit by a train? He was always super fit. I mean,
I don't know.
What was his name?
How long ago was this?
I'd have to say maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
Oh gosh,
he
8
was,
to 10 years.
I mean, he wasn't huge, but he was built decent and he was ripped and he was a workout. He'd go and I can't remember his name, but
he got hit by a train.
Yeah, he was like. He was out walking around the train tracks or something and got hit by a train, but he was somebody that I kind of was watching because, I mean, you want to talk about shredded. He had the diet, he had the workouts. Yeah. And he was, he was good.
It's not all about though, too, just like seeing like who's the most ripped out there and say, I'm going to do this. Cause I know people that follow people online that's like, oh, this person's ripped. I'm not going to do exactly what they do. Sometimes it's just genetics.
Yeah.
What I tell people is look at the people's past, see if they came from a huge change. Like people can look at my beginning pictures and I was a stick. I was a 121 pound stick, nothing like I am now. I mean, I look like I took roids compared to then. I mean, if you pulled up those two pictures, you'd be like, what did you take? Because they're drastically different. And that is, I think, something needs to be put in this perspective here, because some people say, oh, this person's trained 5 years, they look like that, I want to look like that. And they think they can achieve that because they did it in such a short amount of time. This is my 18th year in November training. And I went from where I have to here in all natural, of course. And people say that's 18 years. That's a long ass journey, but
it's dedication.
Right.
It shows that you want it.
Right. And sadly though, the generation we live in now is not about that.
No, it's instant gratification. And if I can go get a shot or I can get surgery.
Right. They see people that change their bodies in 3 years and they're like, I want to follow this guy. I'm going to subscribe to everything he has and pay him lots of money.
Yep.
And that's how social media is right now. That's why everything on fitness, like social media, is totally busted nowadays because it's all about instant gratification. It's one of the reasons I no longer do that kind of stuff on social media. Most of my business comes from gaming now, actually, because I left the fitness industry for that industry, for social media, because it's all busted. Everything's about roids nowadays.
Yeah, and that's sad.
It's getting worse and worse, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
No, I refuse to. I tell people I was put on this earth with a certain hormonal level for a reason by a great creator. Why would I adjust those levels? Why would I think I'm above God to say I can adjust my hormones better than he gave me? Why would I do that?
Are you just going around the topic here? Because that's coming. That topic's coming.
I know. I was hoping it was, and we have that saved for sure. But
but people, they don't care what they put in their bodies. Some people don't care.
No, they don't. They completely don't look at that, and we'll be talking about that.
And they think everything's safe, and it's not. Or that happened to him, but it won't happen to me.
Yeah, that's another one. So this is our break halfway point. We like to do something special at this time.
Oh boy.
We're going to see how Dave does with Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Dave, are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Probably not.
Some of these questions, dude, I always get some.
Well, wait a minute.
wrong.
We talking about today's fifth graders?
Oh. Well, these were questions formed back when the show was on TV, I think.
Well, see, they're probably smarter than me back then.
Right.
See, but nowadays, I don't know if the fifth graders are smart.
No, I don't either. Not the way schools are teaching, which we will cover today, I'm sure. We're going to go on a tangent for sure. Let's start off. Who painted the famous artwork, the Mona Lisa?
Van Gogh? Is that right?
No. I saw this in person, actually. I got to go to France and see this.
Who did paint the Mona Lisa? I'm not an arty guy.
I'll give you a clue. Vinci.
Oh, Leonardo.
Yep, Leonardo da Vinci. Yep, correct. What is the primary function of the respiratory system in the human body?
Primary function of the respiratory is to get oxygen in. I mean,
yeah, you're right. You get carbon, and the other
you
part,
exhale the carbon monoxide.
Right, exactly. The two parts of that. You got it. You got that one. How many sides does a pentagon have?
Oh Lord, I don't even know what a pentagon is. You gotta remember.
Think about Washington D.C.
I graduated in '85. That's a long time ago.
That is. I was born in '91.
Oh Lord. How about we'll try 5?
You got it. Yep, Pentagon, 5 sides.
How'd you like that?
That was good. What is the capital city of Japan? Dave, you're doing terrible.
If I know we was gonna have a test, I would have studied.
That's the point, though. I'm not going to tell my guests that I'm going to ask these questions.
Ooh, what is it? It wouldn't be Hiroshima, would it?
No.
Because we blew that off the face of the earth.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
I have no idea, dude.
Tokyo.
Hey, Tokyo Rose. Hey, how you doing? We got to get off of this. Them fifth graders back then were smarter than me.
What is the chemical symbol for gold? Oh my gosh, Dave.
Man, this was back in junior high.
Did you pass school? No, this was 5th grade.
Okay. I'm going to be 56. That was a long time ago.
Well,
I don't remember what.
AU. A and U. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't. I don't know.
What is the longest river in the world?
In the world?
Yes.
I don't think it's the Mississippi.
No. I thought you were going to say something else there.
But, can't think. What is that river?
Nile River. The Nile River.
I was going to say that, and I thought, no.
I actually got that one wrong. I was thinking the Amazon River.
See, that's the one I was going to say, and I thought, no.
Yeah, I would have got that one wrong. That was one I missed. Which planet is known as the Red Planet?
I'm just going to go home. Which one is it?
Think of Elon Musk.
Mars?
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Who is credited with writing the U.S. Declaration of Independence?
Who was credited with There was
the main person.
Who did write that? It wasn't Thomas Jefferson, was it?
Ding, ding, ding. You're right. Yep. He had the biggest signature too.
Well, he had the huevos. He had the big huevos.
How many bones are there in the adult human body?
Why do I think 86?
86.
But I think it's more than that.
Quite a bit more.
I don't know. I broke enough of them. 210.
You're close. 206.
Hey.
You're only 4 off there. That's not bad. And last one? What is the circumference? Well, I'm sorry. What is the distance around a circle called?
Distance around a circle?
Yep.
That's the circumference, isn't it?
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, so
that was so easy. I was like, wait a minute.
I almost gave you the answer when I read it.
I was like, you're overthinking it. Stop.
All right, I gotta see what you did here. So you missed the Mona Lisa one. You missed one there. Primary function, you got that one right. How many sides? You missed the Pentagon. You missed the capital city of Japan. You missed the chemical symbol for gold. You missed the longest river. You missed you got that one right with a little bit of help. I'll give it to you though. And then I'll give you the bone one too. You were actually pretty close there, and you got the 50%. So you failed, but
well, you know,
you're my first guest to fail these questions.
I'm the oldest one too, right?
It is true. That might show something, but
Oh, I mean, with everything that's... Life sure has changed since I come out of school.
It has. And that's going to tie right into the next topic, which is generational differences.
Yes. Here we go.
So let's just talk about the overall generational differences. Like there's, we have the baby boomers, we have the Generation X, we have the millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. Now, when I was first writing up this podcast, I thought Dave was a boomer.
Nope.
You're off by 3 years, right? 94 you were born.
No.
I'm sorry, not 94.
67.
94. 67.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, right, yeah. 64 is the cutoff for boomer. So
I'm an X guy.
You just missed boomer, which I was interesting because I thought you were boomer. But there's typically a stigmatism, I feel, when talking about generations. And that is, I think the boomers are considered the hardest workers. They only knew about work. My dad.
Well, Great Depression. How many of them knew about it? Had grandparents, parents that went through it.
That's true.
And the wars. They knew what it was to be without. During the war, you had the rubber shortage, you had the food shortages and stuff like that, where they had to make do with what they had.
And you think that was the motivating factor for their work? Yep,
because a lot of them didn't spend frivolously. They were pretty, what do I want to say? They did with what they had. They didn't have to have anything extra, but if they got something, they held on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the X. We came through some hard times.
I have Generation X. They were motivated to work. That's my stigmatism on that.
We were motivated, but we had grown up with our parents, and our parents had instilled it into us. And we didn't get everything we wanted. We went through hard times. It's like, I remember when Jimmy Carter was president, the long gas lines and the layoffs and how bad the economy was, because it affected everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we were happy. We went outside when we went outside in the morning. We came home when the street lights came on.
Mm-hmm. Even I'm a millennial. And I mean, that's how it was with me and my neighbors even. I mean, we would go out, we would ride 4-wheelers and stuff and wander through the woods and climb trees and all that kind of outside doorsy adventure stuff. And then we'd come in around dinner time and have dinner. And then at night we'd go back out fishing or something at night.
Would you let, if you had a kid right now, would you let your child out and doing that now with the way the world is?
If we live in the country, if I lived where I am right now.
But I will put this out. You remember that girl over by Evergreen that she was riding her bike? And
yes. Yeah, you're right. It's a different world we live in when it comes to dangers. I mean, my parents just let me drive the 4-wheeler out. We didn't have a license on the 4-wheeler. We just rode it through. I mean, we didn't care. We just did that kind of stuff.
It was a different time.
It was. You're right. That is true.
Back then, we didn't have to worry about anybody coming taking one of us.
Yeah. We
probably would have beat him up anyway, but, we were just that kind of, rough and tough. Gen X, we had real fights. We had fist fights. We didn't fight over the internet.
We had fist fights too, us millennials.
But
we would fight in the backyard, deck it out.
But Gen Z, I'm going to bully you on social. Big deal. Whose feelings you going to hurt there? Well, they got kids that they can do that to. But we were fighting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We settled our differences fighting. And 9 times out of 10, after you got done with the fight, you and that guy were friends.
Mm-hmm. You go out to the bar, go get some drinks.
Yeah. We didn't worry about being allergic to gluten. We drank from the hose. We watched Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep.
You didn't see none of us going out and doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
None of us tied a rocket to our butt like Wile E.
We played Grand Theft Auto. One of the most murderous games ever back then.
I done it too with the kids. So
right, and it's funny how the generation shift there is so different. I mean, I want to bring this up too. Like for nowadays, like I tell my little sister Taylor, like, and she knows this too. Like whenever she leaves the house, she always has a pocket knife with her. Like there's just things like that nowadays that you have to kind of instruct your kids to do. It's interesting because back then we didn't have to really worry about that. A lot of times I carried a knife with me just for the hell of it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't like we had to do that because you were worried about getting killed or something.
Well, that's because social media. kids nowadays put stupid pictures and stupid posts up, especially these young girls, of how they're dressed and stuff, that you get a whole bunch of people who aren't looking for the right thing. I got to be careful how I say this so you don't get in trouble.
I can always edit this. It's not a big deal.
But I'm talking like they're trying to, like the pedophilia, they're trying to normalize now. They're trying to make it to where it's okay if you're an adult, you have sex with a kid. No way, buddy.
I know. It's crazy.
That's what's happening. It's like if you don't have a problem with the thing Cuties, it was on Netflix.
Okay.
But you got a problem with the Sound of Freedom and what it brings up.
Yep. Something's wrong there.
Yeah. Where is your intentions?
Something's a little off there.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good point. And I also want to bring up too there, you brought up like, women putting pictures out there. I was talking to Josh about this, but I had drove by the public pool the other day to go pick up my dog from the groomer. And I just happened to glance over, and just at a public family pool, the amount of women just wearing the most revealing swimsuits are crazy. When I was growing up, you didn't have those kind of swimsuits. Like, girls did not wear that.
They had one piece, and you had some
two pieces.
Yes,
but they covered more.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like strings.
Them ain't strings, buddy. That's fishing strings.
Exactly. It goes into it because it's like they're just putting themselves out there to want to be, attacked. They're begging the attackers.
But it's not even just at the pool. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's like, dude, I never saw so many short shorts on young kids. It's like, where's your mom's at?
You go to Walmart and it looks like you're walking through a sex shop because of all the women wearing such short shorts nowadays.
Depends on when you go. If you go later in the night, looks like the freak show let out and you don't know what you got.
The freak show.
But I'm looking at it like, what the? Just walk by me. Okay.
Yeah. I could go out in crazy terms there, but yeah, it's definitely different when it comes to that.
I mean, people used to take pride in how they looked when they went out.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No. They don't.
No. Slippers, pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess.
I mean, when I go, I'm usually wearing, I can't really talk on that because when I leave my house, I'm usually wearing like gym pants or something.
Okay, but that's gym pants.
Yeah.
You're not looking at house slippers.
Oh yeah, true. Right. Just wear, okay.
Looking like,
yeah.
Come on, guys. How hard is it to put a pair of jeans on and look presentable?
Right.
Not a lot that goes on anymore.
No, it's not. So we talked a little bit about Generation X there is motivated to work. My next one was, millennials, that's us. I think we understand the importance of hard work, but we're looking, I think a lot of millennials look to start their own gig. When I was growing up, that's what it was.
Yep.
We would work, we were hard workers, but we were always trying to find a way that we could succeed ourselves.
Yep. You guys want that proverbial gold ring.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to go out on your own and do something that you want to do, not something you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Gen X was, we get a job, doesn't matter what it is, we're going to do it to the best of our ability. You guys want to do what you want to do, and you want that to be your career. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that every age level or group has people who work and people who don't.
At every age level.
And I just can't believe that I'm sitting here. I see people who are my age that don't want to do anything. They just want to slough through life. But then again, let's talk about the participation trophies. That started it.
Yeah. Everybody has to feel they are awarded.
Little Johnny didn't have to work. He still got his trophy. But Jim over here busted his butt. He gets the same reward as little Johnny over here. I don't like that idea.
That's getting worse and worse, too. Participation trophies are what they're called.
Yep.
Just have to participate, you get a trophy. It's really
we want you to feel included. We want you to feel warm and fuzzy. Dude, I got cut from Little League from a baseball team.
Yeah, we grew up with, the battle. People don't know about the battle anymore. I bring up the battle at the gym a lot. I say it's leg day, it's a battle. And when I'm training with younger people, I feel like younger people don't appreciate the word battle. They don't know the meaning of that because...
Didn't have to fight for it.
Exactly. we had to fight for everything at our age. Everything we had to fight for. If you earned something, you fought the hell for it, and you knew you fought for it,
and you felt good.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have to do anything. And what does that teach a kid going through life? I don't have to try. I don't have to work hard because I'm going to get the same reward as the guy who does work hard.
Yeah, welfare.
We're going to get to that point. I've got some things about that too. Did you know California is the highest welfare state?
Yes, I did.
I don't know who's number 2, but they said California blows everybody out of the water by a bunch.
I believe that. I believe that a lot. So then it goes to Gen Z. Now, this is my little sister Taylor. Okay, she's always looking for the next biggest thing. We're not going to be talking about that either on this episode, sadly. That's a future episode. But I feel like Gen Z is always looking for the next biggest thing, and that sometimes sidetracks them.
Are they looking for the next biggest thing, or are they looking for the instant gratification?
That's what I mean.
With less work.
That's a good point, but that's actually kind of what I mean. They see people on social media, and this person accomplished this, or then they start looking at what they did, and then they see somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, I want this now." Like,
yeah, but how do they know that person actually accomplished it? I could post anything I wanted on social media. Doesn't mean I did it. And that's the bad thing with social media now.
If it's on social media, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is on there is true.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody, these kids nowadays look at that, go, oh, that's true. That's on TikTok. Oh, look what they did. That's true. No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's oh. I got to say, we have, not all kids are like that.
No.
In Gen Z. We have an 18-year-old kid. He just graduated. He interned out to the shop, worked with, and I trained him and things. He comes to work every day. He works hard. He tries to do the best he can.
Yep.
So I can't lump them all.
And 18 would be Gen Alpha. That wouldn't actually be Gen Z.
Well, but he's, I see. We'll get into what he told me about the school.
Okay.
As we get on into this.
Okay. Just
remind me, because you'll probably sit there with your mouth hanging wide open.
Okay.
And this isn't Brian.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
But Gen Z wants the instant gratification, doesn't want to work for it, thinks it should be handed to them.
With that though, my sister, she's a hard worker. But
it's not all of them.
It's not all of them. It's just majority. I mean, we're classifying.
And the bad part is the majority is the ones that scream the loudest.
Yeah, it is. Sadly,
in certain things, and then in other certain things, you get the minority who screams the loudest, and that's not what the majority does.
No, yeah. And then we have Gen Alpha.
Yeah,
and I just have this. I literally wrote right here, looking for instant gratification. That literally sums up Gen Alpha.
No, I was in Walmart Saturday.
Okay.
Gen Alpha. Kid picks up 2 bags of beef jerky. Sets them side by side. He's like, this one's got more. And I wanted to stop and go, you realize that the ounces are the same, right?
They have a machine that weighs them.
Yes. But he was like shaking them and making, oh, this one's got more. I'm getting one. I'm like, dude, it's ounces. It's the same amount. And he was definitely an alpha, Gen Alpha. And I just shook my head and walked away. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That's different.
I was like, if I wouldn't have seen it,
you wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't have believed it, but he was shaking it, and he sat them side by side. He was looking at them real hard, and he's like, yeah, he told his buddy, yeah, this one's got more. We'll get this one.
They have a machine that weighs them all out. It's all economy stuff. It's based like it's weighed.
And I was like, I'll just go. I'm going this way.
Sadly, I don't have any stories like that for Gen Alpha. That's out there.
Well, like I said, I'm a people watcher. When I go places, I like to be aware of my surroundings.
That's a good thing too. Not very many people are nowadays.
Nope.
They're doing this while they're walking, looking down, scrolling on TikTok, and they don't even know what's going on around them.
And I like to, you learn a lot about people when you watch.
You do. Yep. You definitely do.
Yep.
I wanted to cover this topic too. I wrote this in here. Just discuss each generation, how they handled the gym. I feel like when we're talking about older generations, they have a different mindset at the gym than younger people. But I also feel like it can be flip-flop too as well.
It goes both ways.
It does.
In all of them.
It really does.
You get some from each group that wants to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Now, which one is he?
Whitlock. Is
he an alpha or a Z?
He is an alpha, Gen Alpha.
Okay, so right there.
He's a hard worker.
He's a hard worker.
Yeah, he's going to go far.
You've got a couple other ones that I know that are alphas, Gen Alphas, who once in a blue moon they might show up.
Yeah.
But you get people in the Gen X, in the boomers, show up sometimes, don't. Millennials.
What do you think influences that? Why is there such a discrepancy there?
Don't want to work.
It comes right down to that. Don't want to work.
I mean, it's the drive.
Yeah.
You either want it or you don't. You can talk about it all day, but you put your money where your mouth is. You got your actions. Your actions tell more than what your words do.
Do you think that comes from parenting?
Without knowing their parents, I don't want to throw their parents under the bus.
Right.
But
we're just talking people in general. We're not actually talking about certain people here, but we're talking about just people in general.
Could be.
I mean, I think
your surroundings and your influences.
Yeah.
Set you on a course.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, my parents were great parents. They instilled hard work to me at a young age, and they taught me that if I wanted something, I had to work for it. And I think that helped me with my drive through my life. And I feel like maybe a lot of parents nowadays don't put that out there to their kids. They just buy them everything they want, spoil the hell out of them, and then those kids go up through life expecting everything.
How many kids have you seen where their mom and dad will put a phone or an iPad in their hand and then go?
Yeah.
Now, when I was 16, I wanted to rebuild a motor. My dad handed me a Chilton's book. Here you go.
Here you go. Have fun. Yep.
And I did it. Rolled it around on a sawhorse that I built in VOAG class because I didn't have an engine stand. But I rolled this motor around, put it in the car. The only thing I didn't have right was the lifter set. We fixed that. It fired up and ran.
Parents don't do that nowadays.
No. I tell my son, I was like, I tell him a lot of dads nowadays can't fix things, don't have any tools. And it isn't like when I grew up. Every dad that my dad hung with had tools. My dad painted mixers down to challenge Cook Brothers.
Okay.
And he could paint. He taught me how to paint. He taught me how to fix things. He might not have been the best at what he did. But it's like I tell my son, you learn because you can't afford to go out and get it done all the time. So you learn to support yourself, to be more self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's missing nowadays.
It's lost. It's a lost art. People are dependent.
Yep.
Instead of independent, people are dependent on everybody. Yep.
I'm getting pretty heavy here, ain't I? Getting deep.
It's okay.
That's all right.
That's why I have you on, Dave.
I'm an old guy. I'm all right.
So now we're going to talk about work in general.
Woohoo!
And career perspectives. And we're going to talk about the ethics and career aspirations and how job preferences have changed across generations. So let's discuss and talk about the concept of work-life balance and how it differs from each generation.
Boomers worked as much as they could because they wanted to support their families. And back then, a dad working could support his family while the mom stayed home and raised the kids. Mm-hmm. My generation is when you started to see the wife go to work because prices had went up, the wages hadn't come up so both parents were working, and it's just went from there to where now I can't. When I was working, I used to work all the overtime I could.
Just a little bit closer there.
And I did a lot of side jobs because I used to race out there at Bryan Motor Speedway or build cars. Mm-hmm. And I'd always do a side job or an odd job so I wouldn't have to take money from the family. So it's just as it's went. But I see the older generation now doesn't want to work. I think every generation's got a faction that doesn't want to work. They want the free ride.
And I think it comes a lot with motivation. What is their motivating factor? I mean, I think back, I always reference my dad. The motivating factor was he had me and my older sister to provide for. That was his motivating factor. I mean, my dad I talked to him about this. He wanted to start businesses on himself, but he couldn't. We kind of stopped him from doing that because he had to have health insurance for us. And it stopped him from having that creative aspect, which I think my dad could have been a millionaire. He could have even a billionaire possibly. He has the mindset of being able to do anything. And I feel like we kind of stopped him in his tracks about that.
Yeah, but you guys didn't really stop him. I mean,
we kind of did because he was forced to provide for us in a way.
But did he want a family?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, then you didn't stop him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all in perspective.
It is.
I mean, when people get married and they have kids, they've decided that they want a family.
Yeah.
Which nowadays, that's a lost thing too, is a family.
It is.
It's nothing like it used to be. Used to be families got along, you had family cookouts, you going camping, going to the lake, it was always a family thing. And as soon as the older generation started passing away, you start to lose it. And now you don't see the family element really anymore.
When you were a kid, Dave, did you eat dinner with your parents?
Yes.
At the table?
Yep.
You sat down and actually had dinner.
Yep. And if you didn't eat what they had, you starved.
Yep. We did the same way. We did. It was on the table. What we ate, it was there. We didn't make anything separate. Like some people I know make other stuff separate. What was on the table, we ate. And if we didn't like it, we just went to bed hungry.
Yep. And now it's kids get whatever they want. Kid throws a fit. Well, you can go ahead and eat them chips. Go ahead.
We'll take you to McDonald's later.
Yep. And that's another thing, fast food. Back then, it was a treat. When we went out, if we had fast food, it was a treat.
We got it every Friday. We were allowed to have it every Friday, and we were excited to go get it.
But now, anytime you go through town and you look at the fast food places, they're packed.
All the time. You could go on the most weirdest time. You could go on a Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and it would be packed.
Yep.
Who's going to McDonald's at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night, Dave?
Does anybody not cook anymore?
I guess not.
And that's another thing. There's a lot of girls coming up who don't know how to cook. Who's going to cook for these people? They're going to starve.
I was the cook in our last relationship with the girl I dated. I was the cook. We came home after that from the gym and I cooked.
I cook. My girlfriend cooks.
Either way.
I always like to cook.
Yeah, I do too. I
like to throw things together, try different stuff.
Yep.
How do you know?
Yeah.
And it's now kids are like, oh, let's go get something. I'll go up here to the fast food joint. It's like last night, I heard my phone go off and I'm like, so I looked at it this morning. I'm like, you had to send a picture of Dairy Queen? I mean, come on, man.
Your son did that?
No.
Oh.
It was on our gym page.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And I'm like,
I can't remember who posted that. But yeah, I did.
I'm eating, and then he goes, I had an apple. And I'm like,
yeah,
that doesn't offset the other stuff, dude.
No, yeah, and lots of kids just think like that now, though. I mean,
just families used to be a unit, and it's not so much anymore.
No, not at all.
And I think it's part of it is the discipline's been taken out. The other part is people shove phones, iPads in the kids' faces and just, I just go.
How many times do you see this when you're going out to eat at a restaurant? You're looking around at other tape. Yes.
On their phones.
And not just the parents, but the kids are on their phones.
Yeah.
And
nobody's talking.
No, not at all. Everybody's doing scroll.
Yeah. Social media right there. Back when I was growing up, Fridays and Saturday nights was cruising nights.
Cruising nights. We
would cruise. It used to be where Myros used to be up there in Bryan. That was Hardee's. And where the Wendy's is at right next door, I think it's United Way and some salon.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That was the McDonald's.
Okay.
That was a continuous cruise Friday and Saturday nights.
Oh.
We hung out, we talked, we joked around, we had fun, we played CB tag and stuff like that,
CB radios? We messed around with those too all the time. A lot of people don't know what those are.
But we had fun. I mean, you got out.
Yep.
my mom and dad knew where I was at. In fact, I come home one night, my dad goes, "Did you win?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "That red Mustang you was racing, did you beat him?" I'm like, "What does he know?"
My dad would race too. I never raced, but my dad did. My dad raced, and he knows that about all kinds of stuff like that.
But yeah, my dad, he freaked me out. I'd come home, "Did you win?" I'm like, what are you talking about?" And he would describe the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does he know?
Parents aren't dumb.
No.
They know more than you think.
But they would give me a curfew. I'd be home by curfew.
Yep.
No problems.
Yep. Same here. We had the same rules.
We didn't go out destroying things.
No.
We started out, there was 2-4 parking lot, which was back here behind all the shops uptown. Well, we got kicked out of that, and they put us in up on the square, Courthouse Square. And we would just go up there and we'd park our cars and we'd sit there and hang out and talk and stuff. And, if you got bored, you went out and made a couple laps, come back. And then now you don't see kids doing that.
No.
We didn't have phones. We didn't have internet. We didn't have social media. Our social media was going out and actually conversing and talking and interacting.
Mine too. We didn't get Facebook or MySpace till my junior year in high school. That's when we first got it. And like you said, life was a lot different before social media. A lot different. People could talk to each other.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we want to talk about, looking people in the eye. How many people do we talk to nowadays that, "Hi, how you doing today?" I'm doing, like, they can't look each other in the eye. Or they can't even do a handshake and look each other in the eye when they handshake.
I know I stick my hand out sometimes and people look at me like I'm weird. And I'm like,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's such a different time.
see, I used to be a plant manager and I was interviewing people. I always had a rule. If you couldn't look me in the eye and you always kept looking down, I wouldn't hire you.
That's great advice right there, because I'm sure a lot of hiring people do that. That's a common thing. If you don't look people in the eye, how can you respect people that don't look you in the eye?
Number one, if you can't look me in the eye, how are you going to interact with the other employees and me?
Mm-hmm.
Number two is, are you trying to hide something if you can't look me in the eye?
Right.
Because if you can't look somebody in the eye and you're talking, then what are you hiding?
It's an easy way to see if you lie. It really is, when you're talking to somebody and they're like, "Yeah, it happened like this and like this." Like,
yeah, or they look away when they're talking to you, and I'm like, okay, you're lying to me.
Right. It's obvious. They're not even trying at that point.
But it's that right there, them phones. People are constantly on their phones, and I'm like, you're missing so much of what the world is and all the neat stuff that goes on. You miss everything. It's like, how many people go out at night and sit and just look at the stars?
Nobody. we did that all the time.
Yeah.
We loved doing that.
I still do it.
Yeah.
I go out and sit on my deck and I look up at the stars.
Me and Siri do too.
But a lot of people don't do that kind of stuff.
And not just that, but people aren't outside. People are not outside in general.
It's too hot.
You're going home from work at night. Like nowadays, like when I would drive home from high school at night, I remember people would be outside. You'd see people outside by campfire. You drive home from the gym. I get home late nowadays. You drive home and you're looking outside and there's nobody outside. It looks like nobody lives there. Everybody's in their houses.
Well, and then I've noticed it when people go by the house at night. You can see their faces and the inside of the car lit up because they're on their phones.
And you can see their TVs on.
Yep. And I'm like, come on, you guys are missing everything.
Yeah. It's their world's just spinning and they're just living it.
Well, they're going to wake up someday and they're going to be like, they're going to see something. They're going to be like, man, I missed all this. And it's like,
I don't know if that's ever going to trigger for them though.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think in a way people are so far gone because of, Netflix and there's so much entertainment. You want to watch XYZ, it's out there. And I think because of that, I think people are never going to realize what they're truly missing in life.
That's true. I mean, I haven't been to the theater to watch a movie. I mean, I watched when Top Gun come out, the new one.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that because there wasn't any woke crap in it or anything.
Not at all.
But like, I won't probably watch The Sound of Freedom till it comes out because I've heard it moves a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that this country has to deal with, and they need to deal with it, but I don't know if they ever will.
Right. Okay. So we kind of went into this, but I think there's more we can cover with technology influence over
generations. TikTok.
TikTok. It's not just TikTok in general, but technology at 4 different generations, it has shaped the generation overall. I think so, in a way. I think the way social media has portrayed itself nowadays has shaped the kids where they are now. And talk about technology when you were younger.
We had Pong, Atari.
We had Super Nintendo and N64.
And I remember when Nintendo, the first one, came out with the Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
And the Mario Brothers and all that.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep, and the Zelda. Yep.
But yeah, I was a big Zelda dude, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I finally conquered that one too. It took me a while, but I got
it. It's a big game.
But that was it. We didn't have if you were one of the few whose mom and dad bought the Atari Pong,
mm-hmm.
Oh, you were cool.
Yeah.
But man, I was 10, 11 years old out in the sandbox playing with my cars, riding my bike. I was living life.
Yeah.
I was doing things.
Yep.
I was doing things that it'll always be a memory. These kids, what's their memory going to be? Video games?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a different time we live in. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I have a gaming channel. I make money doing this stuff. So I'm a big fan of games.
But you still get out and you still interact.
Right.
You go and work out. You're still getting the interaction.
Yes, true.
A lot of these kids don't get the interaction.
They're just living in the game, basically.
And they're talking about that AI coming out, and where now they're going to start doing it in games to where you can start talking to that game, and that game's going to start talking back to you and make a connection with you.
Yeah.
And how many people are going to want to disconnect from the real world and live in that fake world?
Well, I was going to bring this up on my AI podcast today with my AI person, but he canceled on me. But it's a great time to bring it up now. There's a new thing called AI girlfriends.
Are you kidding me?
It's insane. You got to hear me out on this. I researched this when I heard about this because this is insane. You can literally search up models on Instagram that are created by AI. They're literally AI, and they look human as all heck. But they're beautiful. I mean, the people that designed, they are beautiful. Literally, I perfect everything. And the comments you would think the comments would be, oh, this is crazy. The world's come to, and the comments are like, oh, this girl needs to date. Like literally they're trying to talk to the AI system. Like, it blew my mind. I was like, what is going on here?
Remember the anime? All them cartoon characters come out, and these people were like, thought they were hot and sexy.
Yeah. And
then you get these, and I'm seeing it where these girls are dressing up like this, and I'm like, are we not in the real world?
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, Dave.
And that right there, I mean, come on, guys. It's generated. It's not real. What satisfaction are you getting here?
But here's the scary thing where this is going to go. We know about this. Wait until people come, augmented reality. I can't think of the virtual reality games, the helmets people. What happens when they combine that with virtual reality? And now and also not just that, but when they get to this point, which I feel they will get to this point in about 10 years from now, when they are able to create feeling on a person through actual visualization, when they connect the connection from data and games and stuff and technology to neurons.
Could you not see them putting a port in people to do that?
I could see that, sadly.
And plugging in.
Yeah. And how many people would do that if they could have a girlfriend like that? They could literally...
Well, their world would be what they want. It wouldn't be what the real world is.
And it's because people are trying to be their own gods.
And that's not right. He says it right there. There will be no other before me.
But that's where the world's going right now. People, there are people that, don't have a girlfriend, and they're creating AI, these perfect girls, to, that. And then there's people, augmenting themselves in different ways. Yeah. And it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we were kids, if we even heard a little bit about this stuff, we didn't hear about this stuff. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't. And it would have blown our minds even if we heard anything about it. Like, this is a fairy tale. It's not real.
And it doesn't.
There's some people that you can't even talk to without offending them nowadays, or if you're afraid to offend them. It's insane how the mind works on those people, because we When we grew up, we said whatever we wanted. We didn't hold back.
Nope. But that's one thing. I won't do that. I won't change who I am and who I'm supposed to be to make that person happy. If you come up and ask me, hey, I want you to give me your opinion or the honest truth, are you sure you want that? Because I'm going to give you my honest answer, my honest opinion.
Yep.
It might hurt. My ex-father-in-law always told me that. I come up and say, hey, I want your opinion. Do you want my opinion? Do you want the honest truth? Yes. Okay. And he would tell me.
Yep.
And he would lay it out there. And if it hurt, it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm a big boy.
Nowadays, you can't talk like that, though. You can't you give honest opinions, and some people lose their shit.
Yeah, they do. But you know what? Oh, well. You know what? I'm not changing who I'm supposed to be.
And there's no reason to.
Nope. Because if you're going to change yourself to fit in, then are you really who you want to be?
No. You're just trying to live somebody else's life at that point.
You're just trying to be a people pleaser.
Exactly.
And I've made my fair share of people mad.
Yeah. It happens.
You know, we can agree to disagree. And if you think that you're right and I'm wrong, and you can't come to the conclusion that we can agree to disagree, then so be it.
But Dave, that's not a thing anymore. You have to agree with everybody else.
Well, I guess I'm just not that way.
You can't go through life like that anymore, Dave. People look at you like you're crazy. You have to agree with people.
You know how I am. So,
I do.
You know, people ask me, and I'm honest. And
when you were young, did you have healthy debates?
Yeah, you could talk about things and have disagreements.
Exactly.
And you were still friends.
Yeah.
Now, that unfriend thing on Facebook, that helps me a lot. Because I remember, we're not going to get into politics, but when the politics was going, there was friends on there, and we'd get to going at it, and then I got unfriended.
I mean, it wasn't It wasn't him and unfriending him. It was the other person.
Yeah, they were unfriending me. I only unfriended one person because they got pretty nasty.
Yeah, sometimes
and I was like, you know what? No, we're not.
Just
going
take that
here.
negativity out and be done with it. I agree completely.
But you can't have a debate anymore.
Debates aren't a thing.
Because they have their own set vision, their own set truth, and whatever you say is not going to change it. It's like I'm hearing now. They're saying that the lockdowns didn't happen. I'm sorry. I went through them.
I lost my job. I was home for a year and a half.
You know, I was deemed essential, so I went to work every day. Don't tell me the lockdowns, because I got kicked out of Dunham's.
Yeah.
Because I didn't wear a mask. And the lady, she goes, you can't be in here. So I just tossed her stuff to her and told her I'd never be back.
I almost got kicked out of an airport.
See, so there's no more debate.
No, there isn't.
Well, I'll take that back. You have rational people that you can debate with and you can talk. We have a pretty good group at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk and debate. I've never seen anybody really get mad except for the couple that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But that's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if you can't debate and talk,
I think it builds character.
Well, it's healthy for one thing, and it helps you be a better human being.
Yeah.
If you're always right and you don't want to listen, what are you doing? You're
going to go through life being a know-it-all at that point.
And you aren't going to have very many friends.
And I know some older people that are know-it-alls. Like they you try to talk to them or try to act like you're teaching them something, and they bring up something completely different, like to try to make it sound like they know something that you don't. They flip the tables because they want to be like the know-it-all.
That's a narcissist.
That's true. That is good.
Yes. You know, back when I was in school, we had shop class, we had VOAG class, we had welding class, mechanics. I mean, I was in FFA.
Yeah. We had shop class too, even back in the 90s.
But now, I don't know how many places have it around here anymore.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think they teach much of that at all anymore. I mean, I know most electives like that are gone, and I know recess is gone and stuff. I know Yeah, a lot of places have
Dude,
eliminated.
that's where we used to go out and play kickball
right.
and
A lot
some of
of
the other
places-
games you can't play. You can't say anymore.
I don't know if all schools, but I know a lot of schools have just eliminated it because they just found a waste of time. It's crazy.
I thought that was a way to get the kids out moving and exercise.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's different. That's for sure.
And what's gonna happen when like my age group starts retiring? I don't see a big influx of younger people coming into the trades.
I don't either. Like, I had that written down somewhere in here about talking about that because that's a big thing. What is going to happen to the jobs that you guys do when even my generation comes in to take over that, and then, oh my gosh, Gen Alpha. Hopefully I'll be dead by that time. Because production jobs, like we go to the store every week. We plan to get groceries. We expect them to be there. What's going to happen when those jobs are no longer there? Are we hoping that AI just takes over them and robots and stuff?
Oh man, I hope I'm not here for that.
That's where I just, this part baffles my mind. The young generation, when they start to run everything, what in the world? How is everything going to function?
It's not unless these kids start getting into these trade schools. Because right now, I'm going to be 56. The other mechanic there is 53. The other one is 62. We have an 18-year-old.
It's a big gap. There's no 30s? Wow. So it goes right from that to 18.
So my boss is always like, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to be able to retire. I said, what are you going to do?
I was just going to ask you if you're planning on retiring at 60 or 65.
No. Why? I got to keep busy. I've seen too many guys who've retired and not do anything, and then they end up dying.
Yeah.
I'm going to lift as long as I can lift. You know what? Let's face it. As I get older, I probably won't be able to keep lifting this heavy, but I'm going to continue to lift as heavy as I can.
Oh, yeah. That's what I always tell people to do.
And I'm going to try to do as much as I'm still doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys who just give up, just kind of become couch potatoes, and they're not there very long.
Yeah. See it a lot.
It's like history class. I remember having history class. I remember going through American government. They don't teach today what I was taught. I just talked to a friend of mine. She has a friend over in Fort Wayne who's a teacher. They don't want him teaching about the Holocaust. Now explain to me why you wouldn't want that. Why? There's a good reason why, in my mind, why you wouldn't want to teach that. What can you do to control people if they don't know the consequences? Very simply put, what did Germany do to the Nazis? Disarmed people. Then they had their brown shirts. The teachers still did discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, the paddle was a real thing. Been there, done that. But yeah, I mean, my teachers, when I was in high school, they didn't take any crap.
And
Nowadays, they can't. I have talked to people who are teachers. They can't wait to retire. The good ones,
Mhm.
because they say you got no way to control. You got no discipline. Kids don't want to listen, don't want to learn. They got their handful who do, but they say it's not like it was, and they don't teach the same history.
really?
And he told me he says I can't wait to get out of there. He says he says my 4 years in high school. He says every year it's gotten worse. So they're indoctrinating the kids.
It sounds like it. That's around in a small, I mean, we live in a small area.
You know what? I was a kid. I pretended to be things, but it was usually
Superman.
yeah,
Thor.
or army and cowboys and Indians
Secret
and
agent.
yeah,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm like, what is up with these kids?
What do you think has got in their brains? Like, that can't be a parenting thing. It can't be.
To a point, it is.
Just because they're not punishing?
Well, is it that, or here's an iPad, here's an iPhone. Let the kids watch these cartoons, and then they start to think that is their reality.
You're right.
These kids, I don't see large groups of kids interacting anymore. You might see 2 or 3 together in a group.
Mm-hmm.
What do? They go home and get on their phones?
It's all over technology, everything,
Or
communication.
Except for the kids who are in sports, who go do their sports
Mm-hmm.
or got a job. What's the rest of them do?
That's a large percentage too. A lot. I mean, I'm trying to think back for when I was younger. I'd say more than 70 to 75% of people had either clubs or sports or hangouts or a job after school. And I feel like that's not the way anymore. I feel like the percentages of that is down a lot.
I was just thinking, is there even such a thing as a paper boy or girl anymore?
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, I worked for a newspaper place in from 2011 to
Bryan
2000.
Times?
Yes, I worked from there for 2011 to 2018, and then I was laid off and never brought back. But we had a paper. We did have paper. We had paper people that brought it around the local area. Still, I don't know if that's still a thing though.
I just wondered because back when I was growing up, I delivered for the Bryan Times. I delivered for the Blade.
Ah.
Got on my bike, folded my papers, and went and delivered after school.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that. I don't even know if the newspaper's still going around right now. I'm not sure about that.
I think.
Are they still a thing?
I think the Bryan Times is, but it's basically about the size of an ad anymore. It's not very thick.
Yeah, it's papers are gone. I mean, they're disappearing.
But I was just thinking about that when I was young. That was my job, paperboy. And I had to interact with my customers because I had to go collect.
Yeah.
So you had to talk to people. And there was the good people and bad people back then. But still, I learned to interact with other people and handle money.
Yep.
And take care of my business.
I worked as a busboy my freshman year all the way to my junior year, and then I got hired at a radio station to do Sundays with. It ended up being Sunday Christian Hour with Shawn, where I got to play Christian music and feed the church feeds and everything. And I also then did so well at that they promoted me to doing the board op for like basketball games and stuff with Dave Kleck. And then got promoted again, where I went to fairgrounds and actually in person did interviews with people. And that's one of the reasons I love to do podcasts again, because it brings back the memories of doing that, interviews with people.
But see, you interacted with people.
It taught me how to interact with people. Because back then we couldn't have dead air. We got yelled at for dead air. So we had to figure out how to keep small talk going and stuff. It was a nerve-wracking job. I mean, I was only 17 at the time, 17, 18. So it was a nerve-wracking job.
But you did it.
Yeah. True.
How many kids today want to do that?
Not very many.
I mean, I started after I got when I got 16, there was a place called Burger Chef that used to be in Bryan. It's about where AutoZone's at now, because Murphy Mart was back where Walmart's at, and we had a gas station beside us called Gastown. Started there at $2.85 an hour. And then when they closed, I went and worked at McDonald's for a little bit. That was down by the Wendy's. And then I went and worked at Forum Tool over here in Archibald. That was my, when you want to say, first real job after I graduated.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
worked construction and I've driven truck.
Yeah.
Tow motors, maintenance.
Yeah, I've been a busboy. I've painted houses. I've been a board op at a radio station. And a graphic designer, a network administrator, a website developer. I coached fifth, sixth grade football for a total of 18 years. I've done, what do you want to say, wrestling events for the Golden Bear Network up in Bryan. Me and Mike Nowakowski. He was known as the Body. I was the Macho Man. We would do commentary on the wrestling team and the matches. So, I mean, yeah.
That was stuff that was fun.
I know. It's not like that anymore.
Mm-mm.
And do you do any coaching nowadays?
No.
I just wondered if you entertain or interacted with kids nowadays, where you could speak a little bit how kids act nowadays compared to what they used to. But
got out of it because I could see the attitudes of the kids changing.
You didn't want to be any part of that.
And I was like,
I don't want that stress.
I was like, I've been doing this 18 years. I've had my fair share. Let the younger ones come in and start taking it over.
Right.
But I could see the attitude starting to change.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I got the temperament to deal with this anymore.
That's a lot of stress.
We're a throwaway society anymore.
Throwaway society.
Do you see, I can fix that. No, just throw it away. We'll get a new one. Oh, hey, that girl and me, we're trying to work it out. Oh, your buddies, get a river. You can go get another one. Or she'll say, you'll get another guy.
People don't know how to work through things.
No, it's easier to walk away.
The divorce rate is probably crazy high now.
See, and I was trying to get statistics on that, and I cannot find a good statistic on that at all.
Because I feel like they're a lot higher now than you would have been before.
I was going to say, back when I was in school, it was very rare to have anybody had a parent that was divorced.
Yeah, same here.
Nowadays, it's like drop of a hat.
It's a normal thing for mixed relationships and parents not being together. That's a normal thing.
Yep.
It's weird.
And that's not good for the kids because the kids see that and they think that's normal.
Yeah.
And it's not good for them. There's the family unit. But then yet again, do we as a nation promote family units? Or are we trying to get away from it? Are we trying to cause division in every aspect of life?
Are we trying to do that though, or is it just happening?
I think it's, if you get people to be divided and fight amongst themselves on every facet, they're easier to control.
That's true. When there's a party that's fighting against each other, it's going to be easy to control that party because they're not focused.
And then when they tell you stuff didn't happen, I'm like, no, 3 years ago, this stuff did happen. Oh, no, that's not the way it went. I'm like, I don't know where you was at, but I know I remember exactly what was going on. But yeah, we're a throwaway society. Nobody wants to fight for anything. Nobody wants to, they're afraid to stand up. And I'm like, you know what? If good people don't start standing up, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll ruffle feathers.
Oh, well, it needs to be ruffled sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, because like we started earlier, I feel that evil all around. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that feeling.
No, it's not good.
And
it's a darkness.
Yes.
It's a pulling effect, I feel.
I mean, if I'm lucky, if I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
Because I'll be dead tired and I'll go lay in bed and my mind's just like, let's just go. And I'm like, no, I'm here to go to sleep. And it's like, no, you got things to think about.
Yeah. I'm thankful for the gym. That tires me out a lot. If it wasn't for the gym, I probably wouldn't be sleeping either.
Let's see, but I'm like dead tired and I'll hit that, go lay down and I'm wide awake. Family core values, anybody's core values. I got down family, faith, and country.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
And I don't see a lot of that anymore.
No. I
think we're lucky.
Yeah.
Because of our circle.
And where we live, too.
Yeah. I mean, if we was in a big city, oh.
I don't want to be in a big city. Don't scare me like that.
No. But it's the core values. Mm-hmm. I believe in them. Everybody, people are like, oh, America's this and that. I'm like, no, this is still the greatest country in the world. I was standing in Tractor Supply in Defiance. A couple older people come up behind me. I had a shirt on that has family, faith, country, and guns on the shirt.
Nice.
They was like, oh, I like that shirt. And I said, I hope we get back to this. And they're like, yeah, we're hoping 2024 is different. I said, I don't care what anybody says. I still think America's the greatest country in the world. Yeah. I said, if this one goes down, this whole world will go apart.
Yeah,
it'll fall apart.
We're the leader of the free nation.
Yep.
That's what we're called. I mean, supposed to be.
Yeah, I believe that faith is a big thing. I mean, you got it. People's like, faith. I'm like, yeah, it's things unseen.
Mm-hmm. More people need to realize that too, and I don't think people understand what faith is.
That social media plays into that, though. Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking on like Joel Osteen or them guys like that, but they're feel-good guys. I want to hear for a lack of a better term, the blood and guts. I want to hear the bad and the good. I want to know.
Yep.
I don't need somebody to sit there and blow smoke up my skirt.
Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
No, it's not, especially nowadays. I mean, I'm going to be 56. I never thought I'd see this country like this and the way this is going.
I never thought I was going to see it.
I'm just sitting there. There's nights that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I never thought when I was younger, I never thought that we could be living in end times possibly until recent. And I think it was around 2020. I was like, could we possibly be living in the end times? Is it possible?
If you start reading Revelations,
I've read it 3 times.
And every time you read it, you get something different, don't you?
Yep, you do.
Like, I read a chapter of Proverbs, like today, what is the day? The 26th?
6th, yep.
That was my chapter to read. And I'm in Genesis right now.
Mm-hmm. I've read the entire Bible. Yep.
It
took me a year took me a year and a month to do it.
And I've been going through,
yep.
And then now I'm starting back Genesis again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I believe, we had a customer come in Friday. And I didn't get to talk to him, but Kay works there, and she got to talk to him, and she goes to church and everything. And he had a Baptist. I don't know which church it was, but it's a Baptist church, and she got to talking to him. He says things are going to get bad. He says they're going to get worse. Now, if I'm hearing this from another believer, we can't be the only ones seeing this.
No, we can't be.
Some people are like, oh, you guys are crazy. Oh, are we? Well, if you start reading Revelations or go through any part of that, like where Daniel saw his visions. I was
just going to say the gospel. Read the Gospels. Yeah. Jesus talks about what it's going to be like in the end times. But good is going to be perceived as evil, and evil is going to be perceived as good. And what are we being taught a lot nowadays? It's.
I fully believe that's what's going on. Evil is good. Good is evil. Justice is perverted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get people who are innocent who are being convicted. People are idolizing money. Idolizing sports figures. Come on, guys. Instagram
figures, not just sports figures, but anything. There's figures in you name it, bodybuilding even. People idolize that. It's anything. Idolization's always been a big thing ever since Bible times.
Money. It's like I just had to talk with my son. He's like, money. And I'm like, it's not money's not a bad thing. It's the greed and
how you think
focusing
of it
on that money.
How you think of it.
Yep. That's the bad part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's every person for themselves. And that's why I say that I try to look out for the people I'm around. That's why I people watch. I'm aware of my surroundings. And I do carry.
Mm-hmm.
When you got a guy over here in Hicksville 2 or 3 weeks ago driving a truck popping shots at somebody.
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's Hicksville.
Right.
And the cop's like, oh, it's nothing to worry about. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you got some dude driving in a truck popping shots.
You're gonna, that's.
And then Jerry came in and said it was 2 or 3 weeks ago they had a shooting down at the mall in Fort Wayne.
Oh my gosh.
So it is gradually
it's
getting...
it's just worse and worse. It's higher and higher. The percentage of... That's insane.
And I just... You know what? I'm like you. I carry a knife in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going anywhere, 9 times out of 10, I'm carrying.
What are you carrying tonight?
My 9mm out in my truck.
Nice. Very nice.
I carry a 5.7 by 28 Ruger pistol, too.
Nice.
Because that carries about... Is it 21 or 22 rounds?
It'd be more than 15. So
hey, ain't gonna hurt my feelings to have a few more.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I try to tell people, I think that people should be prepared. You should stock up on some food, on some water,
just in case. It doesn't hurt.
And everybody's like, well, what happens if we don't use it? Okay, so if you don't use it, so prices are still going up. You've got that extra food.
Right. There's no downside to it. You're going to use it anyway.
And as long as you do a rotation, you're fine.
Yeah. Yep.
But, that's why I expanded my gardens this year. And I got chickens now, got bees.
You're just a hippie, Dave.
No, I call it a homesteader.
Homesteader Dave.
Yep. I think we're getting a sign made.
That'd be neat.
It's gonna be called the Warrior Homestead.
Oh, I like that. I really like that. The Warrior Homestead.
See?
I know.
You got to be a warrior nowadays, because if you don't, who's going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect this guy over here to do it if you're not willing to do it.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to put myself in there, I want people to be around me who are going to be the same mindset.
What do you think it takes to be a warrior these days in this modern world? The biggest contributor.
Lack of fear.
Lack of fear. I like it. I agree completely. Too many people are afraid of everything.
Yep.
They go through their days fearing everything, fearing opportunities. They don't strike when opportunity is there. That is a big thing. And it is.
And it stops you from achieving things, because, oh, I can't do that, and you'll sit there and talk yourself out of it because you're afraid.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Kick the door in and go for it.
There's a famous saying, nut up or shut up, and I think more people need to just take that, like, just do it. Just do it, push past your limits.
and I hate to say it, but a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid to rock the boat. They're afraid to say something. They're afraid that people won't like them. I wasn't put on this earth to be liked. It's like I read a quote. Jesus wasn't nice.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was good.
Yes. There's a difference there.
He went in, he upset the money tables in the temple, and he took the Pharisees and the Sadducees to task. He called them out.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't nice.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yep. More people need to realize the difference there.
Yep.
I don't think people realize that.
Everybody's like, you need to be nicer. Why?
Yeah.
You don't want to hear the truth?
There's a difference. You can be controlling like that and good.
But that's just something that
yeah.
I'm all for it. I think more people should start standing up, voicing their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, try to have a debate, and know when to walk away when you're not going to have a debate.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody starts screaming and yelling at you,
just walk.
Yeah,
they're not worth your time.
You're not going to get anywhere. You could talk to you or blue in the face.
They're called Karens.
Yes. And Kens.
Karens and Kens. I like it.
Respect and common sense, not so common anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
we talked a little bit about at the gym that there is no such thing as common sense anymore.
There's no gym etiquette.
No.
Some of us know it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And it's not just the alphas. It's across every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because being, dealing with customers, let me tell you, it's every one of them. You get some that are good. I got a lot of good customers, but you always get that one or two that, I've had to step in and stop people.
Have you really?
Yes.
Wow. It's not surprising, actually, to be honest.
I'm like, are you serious? You guys are actually going to take it this way? And it's like, no, this ain't happening.
It's sad, though, how people think like that.
That everybody in this country is given the same opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you work, how you achieve it, how you go about it. Nothing good is ever easy. And if it's easy, it's never good.
I use that saying all the time. I say, why do something if it's easy? There's no point to do something easy. There's going to be nothing that comes out of it.
Nope.
At all. There never is. If it's hard, it's going to be good.
Yeah, and people don't understand. They want the easy.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? You're younger than me.
Dude, I don't know. You look at me like I know and I don't know.
Because when I was growing up, I was told if I got hurt, rub some dirt in it and get back in there.
There was no such thing as safe spaces.
No.
Or mental. You told me about this at the gym. Mental break days from work. That's a thing.
I don't understand it.
You're telling me you can take a day off of work and call it a mental health day from work?
I wish you could explain it to me.
I can't.
Because
I can't.
I was always told to get up, go to work, do my job, do it to the best of my ability.
Yep. And go home.
Yeah. If I don't do my best job, best of my ability, what am I doing for my employer?
Exactly. Why would they hire you then?
Yeah.
What is the point? They find somebody else. Find somebody better.
Well, I don't know if they'd find anybody else do a mechanic's job anymore, but
Well,
still, you know what I mean?
You're pretty safe right now.
Because there's not a big call for
right.
it. So.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, welfare.
Oh gosh.
1981 was 22.4 million. It is now 70 million.
Say those numbers again.
In 1981, the people in welfare was 22.4 million. Today, 70 million people.
That's an increase of like, let's see here, more than 50%. It's like 65 or even closer to 70%. That's insane.
Yep, and I know they're saying California is the highest welfare state by far.
Wow. What's the second? Did you say? Did you know the second?
I didn't know who the second one was at, because you try to get statistics and facts.
It's hard to find statistics.
And it's like they try to run it in circles.
Yeah, they do.
It took me 2 nights to get that. Work ethic. Where'd that go?
Out the window. People want
Why?
Because people, I think this just ties back into the fact of they're raised, everybody gets a reward. You don't have to work for it. So why work? And then they see people online. It all goes back to social media. They see people making millions of dollars playing video games or something like that. They see that and they want to achieve that. And they have no motivation to want to work. The work ethic is just zero.
Do they not understand, though, at some point, that when their car breaks down, if nobody wants to become a mechanic, who's going to fix it?
People don't think far, and that all comes back to instant gratification and thinking. People don't think far ahead. Like in my book, I have a whole chapter about thinking 10 steps ahead and how to do that for all situations. So you're always prepared. And kids nowadays, they don't even think 3 steps ahead. They literally live
day to day.
Right, exactly. No thinking at all. You ask people, a lot of these kids, what they're invested in or anything, for the future. I live paycheck to paycheck. I talked with Eli a little bit about this, and he actually saves money. He does not blow all his money, but there are so many people that just blow their paycheck all the time. It's just live paycheck to paycheck. I've never done that. I've never lived paycheck to paycheck from when I first started working. I've always saved money every time, every time.
Now there's a proverb. I think it's in chapter 22, and it's in 27. Prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions, while the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences.
I'm telling you, when COVID happened, we went into a black hole or something, because everything is flip flopped. I've told people it seems like we live in a fantasy world a lot of times nowadays. It just seems like a completely different world.
Well, seeing the people they let sit at home, and I got nothing against the people who lost their jobs or anything, but got the extra $600. I was deemed essential, and I got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like some of the people that I saw on Facebook and stuff just bragging about it, and that just grinded me.
Yeah,
I'm like, you could be working. You're saying you could be working, but you opted out
and
so
then
you could
brag
get the
about
extra.
it.
Yeah, since you got the extra money.
Like if you're getting the extra money, just be quiet about it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, but don't brag about it to people, because some people are working their ass off for it,
It's like we had an older guy that used to work there, and he retired a year ago, and he was working, during that time, and he come up to me, he's like, oh, it was 8 months into it. He goes, oh, what are we going to do if we get COVID? I go, dude, we've been working through this whole thing. I said, you're going to think that nobody with one of these cars had COVID and it came in here and you touched the steering wheel and stuff? And he looked at me, he goes, oh, you got a point.
It's one of the most contagious things you can get. I've had it 3 times.
I had it once. I had the headaches and stuff like we talked about and everything, but it's herd immunity, man.
The immune system's strong. It can fight it. It can get better. And more people need to realize that.
But they're saying that they found that case, is the Merca or the MRSA COVID?
Yeah, I heard about just this the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
They're saying they found 1 case now. But I will say, it just seems kind of funny.
It's a little fishy.
So my last thing is, does the younger generation believe in marriage anymore?
I don't think so. I think there's a select few that want to keep things traditional, but the more I hear people talk, I don't think people reference marriage as something as an absolute for that they want anymore.
Why not?
Combination of things. I believe it's because they've seen what relationships are as a whole nowadays.
Could it be the divorce rate?
It could be the divorce rate. Just they see more people divorced and they think that marriage is not anything they want to tie themselves into. But I also just think it's people don't want to commit. People don't want one sexual partner for the rest of their life.
They want multiple.
Yes. Me being a 31-year-old single man, some Siri hair falling in my coffee. Me being a single 31-year-old man, when I've tried to date, it is impossible nowadays to find a girl that just wants one guy. Literally, all these social media dating apps or whatever, even, you meet people in person, they always are wanting these open relationships. I feel like open relationships are bigger now than they've ever been. And it's getting worse and worse. And that's leading to the no marriage thing. Because obviously, why would you want to tie yourself down when you're in an open relationship?
Yeah, I don't understand it though. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I think you'll find somebody.
Yeah.
It'll be when you're not looking for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And it'll be like a Mack truck smacking you side the head.
Right.
Well, it's not just the younger kids.
No.
It's the older generation too.
It is.
All of them.
Yeah. It's a complete shift all around. All generations are going through it. Marriage is just not looked at the same way now.
Now, is this something that maybe has been indoctrinated?
Like, You mean maybe through like entertainment?
Well, you got entertainment, you got social media, OnlyFans.
Oh gosh, OnlyFans gets brought up in every one of my podcasts.
It's stuff like this,
Yeah,
but
you're right though. It's very possible all that stuff just contributes to it.
And what is one of the better ways to destroy the family unit?
Not even have a marriage.
And I think it was Reagan in the 80s who signed that no-fault divorce.
It might have been. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it was Reagan. So now, at the drop of a hat, you can just go get a divorce, wash your hands of it, and walk away like, no biggie. But I keep thinking what the good book says.
Mm-hmm.
It's a man and a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's something going on in this country. Because we got the highest divorce rate. Why? Are we that nation that's talked about?
Well, think about just Netflix, for example. How many shows on Netflix just have a typical marriage? Not very many.
I think the last TV show that I watched that had a typical marriage, was it King of Queens?
That's a show back from the 90s.
Do you know of any other that would have had a typical family? Because back when I was growing up, the Waltons.
Oh.
Used to watch the Waltons. We used to every Sunday night.
The Brady Bunch.
Yep. Every Sunday night, we would get Dad would make a huge bowl of popcorn, and we'd watch Disney.
Yep.
And then we watch The Wild Kingdom. I won't watch Disney anymore.
No, Disney is mind control nowadays with what.
So
I do watch the Star Wars shows.
But I'm just saying, what was the last family unit series or sitcom, if you want to say?
I can't think of any modern ones nowadays. No.
Modern Family was one of the last ones that I thought was a dysfunctional family, which probably suited a lot of families.
Yeah, it did.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Before that, what was it? Married with Children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another one. Yep. But no, you're right. Entertainment nowadays is different. Like, they don't have that nowadays.
I don't think
so. It's kind of indoctrinated into us.
I watch probably the movies or series or whatever you want to call it, like Jack Ryan. Mm-hmm. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan.
It was great.
And then I watch the Jack Reacher series.
That was great too.
And
fantastic.
Who else do I watch? It's stuff like that. It shows people standing up,
Right.
and taking a stand for something and doing something.
I'm glad there's still shows like that too.
But they're very few and far between.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I like The Witcher. I don't know if you've ever watched The Witcher on Netflix.
My kid keeps telling me to watch
But
it.
the main character, though, is basically the series is based around Witchers are monster slayers, but the fact is that's not the meaning behind the books. The meanings behind the books in the show is truly showing how people are the true monsters. And Geralt is the main character, and he stands up a lot. He's that warrior, you know. And I think you'd like the series a lot. It's good. It's real good.
A lot more people need to stand up and be warriors.
Yep, right. It all comes down to that.
We were called to be warriors. We weren't called to be meek.
Exactly. Yep. Well, thank you, Dave, for coming out today.
Yep.
I had a blast.
I hope that went well for you. I thought we'd had a good talk.
It was great. I had a great time. We covered a lot of stuff from lifting all the way to generations. I really think the listeners will get some good entertainment out of that, and hopefully some wake up calls, maybe possibly.
I hope so. I mean, I honestly do, because if people don't start waking up, we're not going to save this country.
I agree.
We're not going to turn things around. And I think that if it gets much worse, that you can't save it.
Right. Do you have anything you want to plug? Say hi to anybody or?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I usually ask people to plug their businesses at this time, but.
Oh, you know, I don't. I'm going to tell you what. Here's the thing. Be prepared and get some food stocked up. And if you're into the Second Amendment, stock some pews up, and ABC, always be carrying.
Always be carrying.
Be aware of your surroundings. Stand up. Don't let people make you into something you're not. Be a man or be a woman. Be a warrior, and don't give up.
I like it. Don't give up and never surrender.
Yeah, never quit, never surrender.
Yep.
I mean, only you can guide your life and lead your life.
Yep, I agree.
And you got to look towards, God and Jesus.
Amen to that. As always, guys, my links are down below. Subscribe and like the video, and we will see you guys next week. As always, stay strong and God bless. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
That was fantastic.
I hope it was good for you.
It was great.
I thought we had a good talk.
We did.